So you hate your 9-to-5 job and you're looking to be a freelance graphic designer? I did the same thing about 12 years ago. And in this video, I'm gonna go through my best tips in order for you to succeed as a freelance graphic designer. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? My name is Justin Bryant. I'm a graphic designer, a freelance graphic designer, and I work under the alias 1126 Art Studio. I feel like I've learned a lot of things that would be beneficial to freelancers that are just starting out. So let's jump into it. Tip number 1, save for and pay your taxes. I cannot stress this one enough. So I'm gonna say it again. Save for and pay your taxes. The IRS does not care what situation you are in. They want their money and they want it now. Your life is gonna be so much easier if you start from the very first project, if you save for taxes from that first project and onward. Just get in the habit, create the habit and the routine now. Because come April 15th, does not matter what situation you are in, the IRS wants their money. Now, if you don't have quite the amount of money to pay, to 100% pay your obligation of taxes, you can get yourself into an installment agreement with the IRS and pay small payments over the course of, I don't remember how many years. There's a certain time frame that you can pay back taxes back, but be careful because this is a cycle and a hole that you don't want to get into. I think you can technically have 3 installment agreements going on at one time, but what happens is you kind of dig yourself a bigger hole. Yeah, the first installment agreement gets you out of a pickle and the IRS isn't looking at you much anymore, especially if you're making the payments. But come that next year, if you haven't saved up for that year's taxes, then you're just adding another installment agreement on top of that. It's a hole that you don't want to keep digging for yourself. The easiest way to not get in that predicament is just save for your taxes. Now, what I learned as a freelance graphic designer that your obligation's pretty much gonna be right around 30%. Now, whatever habit you need to get into to save for the taxes, do it. Yes, it sucks. I know I'm with the whole taxation is theft and all that kind of stuff, but that's just the way the system works. The IRS does not care. They want their money. Now that rolls into tip number 2. If you are a sole proprietor, which a lot of people start out as freelancers, I highly recommend filing your business as an S-Corp. Now there's 3 main ways that you can set up your graphic design business, at least the 3 main ways that people talk about. You can be a sole proprietor, which means it's just you. You have no protection over anything. If a company wants to sue you for copyright infringement or whatever it is, they will come after you. You can register yourself as an LLC as well, which gives you a bit more protection there. The company's not gonna come after you, they're gonna come after your business, which is great. But comes tax time under an LLC, you're still self-employed. That's where the S-Corp comes in. This I learned way too late into my freelance career, but I got put together with a CPA and she was like, look, you really need to file your business as an S-Corp because as an S-Corp, you, Justin Bryant, are no longer self-employed. You are an employee for 1126 Art Studio. And what that does, come tax time, Justin Bryant no longer pays 30%. He pays 15%. Saved me so much money in taxes. Another thing that this did was it made me pay taxes throughout the year. So come April, instead of me walking into the IRS building being like, here's the money I owe you, I'm now paying it throughout the year and I'm now getting a return. How do I go from owing 30% and owing money every year to now getting a return? And that's where the S-Corp comes in. Again, I'm now an employee for 1126 Art Studio. I'm no longer self-employed. So just off that, when I did my taxes as a self-employed person, it was basically, here's your normal 15%. Oh, you're self-employed. It basically doubled my tax obligation. But now as an S-Corp, I no longer have the self-employment tax obligation. I just pay my 15% and I move on. So those would be my top 2 for a freelance designer. Literally, I know it's so mind-numbing and it's just not the fun stuff. None of this stuff is gonna be fun. Spoiler. Those are 2 very, very, very important things that you need to get an understanding and a handle on right away. It's gonna make your life so much easier. Bouncing off of that, tip 3, make yourself a routine. A lot of people think that freelancers are just chilling at home, just waiting for work to come in, and there is a bit of that, and it's very nice. I personally am up at 6 a.m., mostly because of my husky, but I'm up at 6, I let him out, I feed him, I get some water, I set up my office for my dog, you know, his bed, his water, and all that kind of stuff, and then I personally play video games for about an hour to an hour and a half. Before that, I post on Instagram, I post on LinkedIn. That's my morning routine. Come about 9 o'clock, I'm now working on projects. If I don't have any projects, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm trying to connect with some people. I'm working on personal projects. I'm updating my website. I'm working on passive income thing. I don't do that every day. Some days I'm like, it's a video game day, or it's a movie day, or it's a mental health day, or whatever, and you need those too. But try to get in the habit of, especially Monday through Friday, if it's working hours, try to at least be doing something productive, one thing productive every day, even if you don't have work. Now, it seems like all these tips roll right into each other because my next one is create products for passive income. Passive income is anything that you work on once and you can put up for sale and not think about it the rest of its existence. I'm talking fonts, textures, mock-ups, anything that other designers can use to help make their process easier and simpler. You can have up on a store, set up on Creative Market, something that creates passive income. You're making money without actually doing anything. One of my biggest selling products on my Creative Market is my vinyl mock-up. I spent a little bit of time during COVID when things were slow. I photographed some of my roommates' vinyls. I put together this vinyl mock-up Photoshop file because vinyls are, you know, huge now. And that's my best-selling product. I haven't touched that file in years. My next tip would be learn to say no. Just because you are a freelance graphic designer doesn't mean you have to take in every project that comes to your inbox. Now, of course, when you're starting out, it's hard to say no to certain projects. You know, I don't think I said no to a project for 4 to 5 years, but that kind of rolls into the next tip as well, so I'll just combine these. You know, take care of your mental health. Take time off. Learn to say no. And saying yes to this project is going to stress you out. If saying yes to this project is going to make you miss an event for, you know, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a family member, a friend, just something that you really want to go to, if saying yes to that project makes you miss that, then just say no. If the client respects you as a designer, they will come back to you. It'll, you know, this project didn't work out, we'll hit you back for the next one. If a client is gonna stop giving you work because you said no one time, that's really not a client that you want to keep anyway. And my final tip would be to make sure you put yourself in some sort of community or surround yourself with 1 or 2 people within the industry so that you're not so lonely. Freelance is very, very lonely. Now, I used to be in a group on Facebook with several other music industry creatives, but that got toxic for many reasons. And for my mental health, I left the group. But out of that group, I maintained one designer that I have been close friends with for many, many years. You know, him and I will talk pretty much every day. We play video games together, share works in progress, just how to work day to day in this particular industry. He's my one guy, and I really respect his friendship, and it's been great having him. So I highly recommend joining some sort of community or something. At least surround yourself with one person that you can talk to on a daily basis, because stuff's gonna come up and you're gonna need to rant, and you're gonna need to like blow off some steam or just talk shop. Definitely find that person or find that community that's not toxic. Those are just some tips off the top of my head. If you guys have any more questions, be sure to drop them in the comments below, and I'll either answer them in the comments or I'll make a new video. I hope y'all have a great week, stay creative, and I'll see you next time.